Hi class, this will be our observation model for soccer. The age we're doing is going to be 7. The developmental stage, they're not going to be fully developed because they're young. The stage of learning will be a beginner. As far as the task characteristics, students will learn the proper technique of passing a soccer ball back and forth with a partner. This skill has moderate complexity because it is not too simple but not too hard either. Classification is serial because when the ball is passed to the student, they will stop the ball with their foot and then pass the ball back to their partner. With this specific technique, there is a combination of discrete and continuous motion. There is a clear beginning and end as it occurring over and over. This is a gross motor skill because kicking a ball involves a large movement. The environment is open because there are objects in motion and objects can act in an unpredictable manner. As far as the context and function, where are they going to be playing? It'll be an open field so that there is plenty of room for students to practice the skill. And the purpose of this activity is so students can learn the proper technique of kicking a soccer ball back and forth with a partner. This activity is for skill characteristics. For the what portion, instructions will be given verbally with a demonstration. Students will listen passively because at this young age, it is best for them to watch and listen to avoid disruptions. During instruction, the brain should be picking up the timing of the joints, which are the legs and feet. The students will listen to what they are doing passively because at this age, it is better for them to just listen to avoid disruptions. Who will be showing it? The students are unskilled because they are young and may not be confident. The verbal instructions and demonstrations should help with this. How? The angle will be objective because learning is most effective with students of this age to have the teacher face them while giving instructions. This is so the teacher can have a clear view of the students to see if they are paying close attention. The teacher will control the number of viewings because students are too young to control the number of viewings. The frequency will depend on the observation of the skill. It will be more frequent if students are struggling to understand and less if they are not. The speed of demonstration will be real time because they will be practicing the skill in real time. When? Before and during observation because instruction will take place before students try the skill and then students will attempt the skill while being observed. The outcome will be the children learning how to use the proper techniques of how to kick a soccer ball back and forth with a partner. This skill will involve gross motor and cognitive abilities. So now we will be doing the soccer feedback model. As far as the moderate variables go, the age, the developmental stage, the stage of learning, task characteristics, and classification will remain the same. As far as the context and function, that will also remain the same as well. So the knowledge of performance because the children learning to pass the ball back and forth to their partner, we have to describe what they just did to understand what they're doing. For perspective, we would let them know either what they're doing is correct or wrong. For the activity, it will be discussed on how the ball will be kicked correctly with the inside part of the foot and kicking the ball way out of reach of their partner. Make sure to kick the ball with the inside part of your foot. Make sure to follow through with your kicks. Make sure to stop the ball with the inside part of your foot when your partner passes the ball to you. Good job on the follow through on your kick. For the focus of attention would be to make sure the kids are performing correctly to the activity, kicking the ball with the inside part of the foot and also kicking the ball to your partner and not far off to the side. The feedback would be provided by the teacher because the children will still be unskilled and need further learning on the skill. So we will be the ones to provide feedback on it. How will we provide the feedback? We would use verbal feedback because the children are still young and would understand more from me talking to them and help clarify what they're doing right or wrong. For the frequency of viewing depends on how much the children will pick up the skill. If the skill isn't fully grasped, the first few times the teacher will be performing the skill until fully grasped. For this, we would be using both concurrent and terminal augmented feedback. For concurrent augmented feedback because to make sure that the skill is being done correctly during the activity. And for the terminal augmented feedback would be used for the end of the activity to make sure that the children fully understood the activity and provide feedback on how well they did. The outcome will be the children learning how to use the proper techniques of how to kick a soccer ball back and forth with a partner. The skill will involve gross motor and cognitive abilities. Now our second skill for kicking a soccer ball will be the 6 stages of learning. So I have improvement. The learner will get better at kicking the ball to a partner the more they practice the skill. Consistency. Learners should be able to kick the ball to a partner the same way every time they pass it. Stability. The learner should be able to do the skill with or without pressure. For example, I can test the stability by standing right by the learner as they kick the ball to see if they can still maintain the skill with added stress. Persistence. The learner should be able to do the same skill even after they come back 24 to 48 hours later. Adaptability. The learner should be able to do the same skill with slight variation. For example, I can have the learner run up to kick the ball to see if the skill is maintained with this variation.
So today in PE we're going to be learning how to kick a soccer ball back and forth with a partner. Today I have David and Samantha, and they will be your guys' examples. They are both unskilled learners like the rest of you, so they're both beginners learning this new skill. So we'll start here, and I just want to point out a few things before we get going. This is a moderate complex skill. It's going to be a gross motor. It's going to involve your guys' feet and your legs. And it is a serial skill because it's going to have a clear beginning and end. And okay, so I want you to focus on a few things while you do this. If you can place your non-kicking foot beside the ball and try to make sure you're facing your partner. Make contact with your laces, not your toes, and follow through. And then when you receive it, you're just gonna stop it and then do the same thing back. So go ahead, give it a try. Okay, yeah, go ahead, can you do it back? All right, good job on the follow through. Okay, good job, keep going. Uh-oh. All right, so you just try to be a little bit more accurate. Good job. Be sure to kick the ball with the inside of your foot, okay? Very nice. All right, nice job stopping. Uh-oh, don't kick it so hard, okay? Try to kick it softer. Very nice. I just want to point out, too, that we're in the open field today, just practicing the skill, so that way you guys can learn the proper techniques of it. That way you can use it in a game situation if you guys want to play soccer. Good job. Good job. All right. Make sure to kick the ball with the inside of your foot, okay? All right. And then stop the ball with the inside of your foot before you pass it back to your partner. All right, good. And class, just focus on how she's stopping the ball. She has a good follow through. They're kicking it with the inside of their foot. You see the joints being used is the leg and the feet. All right, nice job, guys. To what you're doing right and wrong, I'm going to be filming you, and then I'm going to show it back to you so you can see what you might need to work on, okay? All right, go ahead. All right, let's stop right there. If you look here, a lot of the times you were kicking it with the tip of your foot, when you should be kicking it with the inside of your foot. Do you see that?
Yeah.
All right, so let's see if we can correct it, okay?
Okay.
Go ahead. Much better, much better. All right, guys, so before we do this again, I'm going to just be checking for a few things to make sure that you're learning the skill. So I want you to kick the ball back and forth to each other 5 times, just if I can see if you guys are improving. And also, we already have the class watching you, so that's a little bit of an added stress to you to check your stability. And then I also just kind of want to see your consistency if you can do this over and over again the same way, okay? So go ahead. Okay. So I'm seeing improvement. I mean, you guys are improving from when you first started. You're using the inside of your foot. Consistency though, Samantha, could be a little bit more consistent. I did, sometimes it wasn't as accurate as it could be. But you guys have the stability. You're doing it in front of the class, so I would say that, you hit 2 of those 3, okay? So, all right, well, we're gonna stop for now. Second graders, and we're gonna come back. and I'll see you guys in about 2 days, and we'll pick the skill up, okay? All right, welcome back, guys. I hope you guys had a nice little break. So now I'm going to have you two demonstrate the same skill, just to kind of see if you guys are remembering the techniques of passing the ball back. So go ahead. Very nice. I can see you guys definitely remember a lot of the skill. You're doing it correctly. Nice job. All right, now let's test your adaptability. You guys want to put a little variation on this and see if you can do it? Or how about you guys increase the distance? You want to see if you can still have the same technique and accuracy. All right, that's good. All right, go ahead. Great job. Definitely still doing a great job even with the variation, okay? All right, class, I'm going to have you guys stop there. Thank you for being good demonstrators. That'll be it for the techniques of kicking a soccer ball back and forth with a partner. Thank you, second graders. Have a good day. Hi, class. This is our second observation model. Our skill is throwing a football back and forth with a partner. For the moderate variable, the age is 14. The developmental stage is not fully developed. The stage of learning would be intermediate. The task characteristics, students will learn the proper technique of throwing a football back and forth with a partner. This skill has moderate complexity because it is using both the arms and legs during the task. Classification is serial because when the ball is thrown to the student, they will catch the ball with their hands and then throw the ball back to their partner. With this specific technique, there is a combination of discrete and continuous motions. There is a clear beginning and end, and it is occurring over and over. This is a gross motor skill because kicking a ball involves a large movement. The environment is open because there are objects in motion, and the objects can act in an unpredictable manner. For context and function, the where is in an open field, so there's plenty of room for the students to practice the skill. The why, the purpose of this activity is so students can learn the proper technique of throwing a football back and forth with a partner. Characteristics, the what, the instructions will be given verbally with the demonstration. Students will listen actively because at this stage they are old enough to be involved during instruction. During instruction, the brain should be picking up the timing of the joints, which are the hands, arms, and feet. The who is the students that are moderately skilled. Because of the stage that they are at, they still may not be confident, but the verbal instructions and demonstrations should help with this. How, the angle will be objective because learning is most effective with students of this stage to have the teacher face them while giving instructions. This is so the teacher can have a clear view of the students to see if they are paying close attention. The teacher will allow the students to control the number of viewings because at this age, these students should be able to tell you if they need to see something again or not. The frequency will depend on the observation of the skill. It will be more frequent if students are struggling to understand and less if they are not. The speed of demonstration will be real time because they will be practicing the skill in real time. For when, we will do before and during observation because instruction will take place before students try the skill, and then students will attempt the skill while being observed. And the outcome of this is for the students to learn how to use the proper techniques of how to throw a football back and forth with a partner. This skill involves gross motor and cognitive abilities. For the football feedback model, the age, developmental stage of learning, task characteristics, classification, the where, and the why are all the same. For the what, we'll be doing knowledge of performance because for the children learning to throw the ball back and forth to their partner, we have to describe what they just did to understand what they're doing. For prescriptive, we would let them know either what they're doing correct or wrong. For this activity, it will be discussed on how the ball will be thrown correctly with proper hand and finger placement, and make sure to catch the ball with your hands in a triangle. For the focus of attention, we would make sure that the kids are performing the activity correctly and throwing the ball with proper finger placement, and the football and the catching of the football is proper. For the who, the feedback would be provided by the teachers because the children will still be unskilled and need further learning on the skill, so we will be the ones to provide feedback on it. For the how, the feedback will be verbal because at this stage they are still young and we want them to understand and clarify what they're doing right and wrong. For the frequency of viewings, it will depend on how much the children will be picking up the skill. If the skill isn't fully grasped the first few times, the teacher will still be performing the skill until fully grasped. The when for this would be both concurrent and terminal augmented feedback. For concurrent augmented feedback, we want to make sure that the skill is being done correctly during the activity. And the terminal augmented feedback would be us making sure that it is done correctly at the end of the activity to make sure that it is fully understood. The outcome is the same as before. Our second skill for football is Fitz and Posner. So we have the cognitive stage, and this is where the learner is going to be focusing on the what of throwing a football to the partner. So they will focus solely on throwing the ball accurately to their partner. There will be many errors in this stage, and a lot of feedback will be required. We will then go to the associative stage, and this is where the learner will focus on the how of throwing a football to their partner. This is where they will do a lot of fine-tuning and refining to make sure that they are using the proper techniques. And then lastly, we have the autonomous stage, and this is where the learner should be able to complete the skill with no errors at all, and there will be little feedback required to the learner.
Alright, hello class, welcome to PE. Today we're going to be learning how to throw a football with proper technique. So, how are you going to be able to throw a football? You're going to put your thumb on the backside part of the football against the laces. You're going to have your index finger right above the white, or right at the white line. You're going to have your middle finger right above the laces. And then from there, you're going to have your fingers skipping a lace. And from there, Samantha, why don't you be my demonstrator? I'm going to throw the ball to you. As you're throwing it, make sure you point to where you're throwing and follow through as you come down and throw it. And as you're going to catch it, make sure you have your hands in a triangle form to come catch the ball with your hands out. All right, so here it comes. All right, see how that's done? Throw Samantha. So Elise, do you see how Samantha's arm angle is coming in?
Yeah.
See how her throws
Yes.
are over her head, over her shoulder? Make sure your arm is over your head. You're doing the follow through.
Okay.
You get your arm wide up, throw it. Good, better.
All right, class, so now we'll be focusing on the what, just throwing the ball accurately to your partner. So if you could go ahead. Elise, make sure to follow through on your throw. And then David, make sure to point towards your target. And then remember, when we're catching, if it's below, we use our pinkies and tuck it in. Above, use your thumb